So we've seen Peter in his worst moment this week, but despite his denial, Jesus still wanted to strengthen Peter so that he could strengthen others. Read Jesus' words. I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you've turned back, strengthen your brothers. Luke 22, verse 32. So Jesus knew Peter would deny him, but he said, I have prayed that your faith may not fail, because you're going to need to strengthen your brothers. I think this is fascinating, that Jesus would foresee this denial, but still state that Peter's faith would not fail. I would have thought Jesus would have said, I've prayed for you, Peter, because I know your faith is going to fail. But when you return, strengthen your brothers. But he says, I've prayed that your faith will not fail, even though Peter would deny him. Here's the thing, when you make that wrong denial and throw your faith under the bus instead of denying yourself, it's not the end. You may have lost a battle, but you haven't lost the war. One of the great early Nazarenes was a man named Christian Walmer Ruth. It was his writing that really helped me to see the glorious possibility of a holy life. He wrote a book called Temptations Peculiar to the Sanctified, which has a chapter entitled What to Do in Case of Defeat. Listen to his words and think of Peter. He writes, when the children of Israel suffered defeat at Ai because of an enemy in the camp, they were not obliged to return to Egypt and start all over again. No, they simply acknowledged the defeat, uncovered and destroyed the enemy, and remained in the land of Canaan and went on to victory. But if they had refused to acknowledge defeat and failed to part with the enemy, doubtless the Lord would have forsaken them, and their enemies would then have driven them back clean out of the land of Canaan. Friends, just because you've lost a battle doesn't mean you now have to abandon your faith and return to slavery and start all over. Acknowledge the defeat, get rid of the enemy or the thing that caused you to fall. Move forward in victory. Thankfully, Peter did this, eventually. This is the big difference between him and Judas. Judas went and hanged himself. Peter came back to Jesus and found redemption. Jesus strengthened him and placed him back in a role to strengthen others. His faith didn't have to fail because of a defeat. Neither does yours. So may you find yourself strengthened and redeemed by the Savior. And like Peter, may you live a life of boldness for Jesus, even if up until this point you've denied him. God bless you, friends. Thank you for supporting my work, and I hope that these devotions are blessing you. Take care.